Hello and welcome to another episode of the Transformations with Jane podcast. I'm your host, Jane Nakata, a coach for women, currently living in Sweden. But if you've seen the topic of today's episode, you'll know that it won't be for much longer. That's right, we are moving back to Japan. And it's interesting that I'm recording this episode almost exactly a year since we arrived here. We arrived in Sweden on the 14th of November. I remember it very clearly. And yeah, this weekend will be the 14th of November on Saturday. So yeah, a whole 1 year has passed. It's been a crazy year, right? We've had so many things happen with the COVID virus, and our way of life has completely changed, as I'm sure you've noticed. And not only that, we've been shunted back and forth between Japan, back to Sweden. And then suddenly, a few weeks ago, my husband came home and said, looks like we'll be leaving because his work here is now finished. And we were both very surprised about that, but that is something that we cannot control. We cannot do anything about that particular thing. So it was a matter of waiting to see what would happen, what the company would do with us, and they decided to send us back to Japan. So yeah, less than 1 year after we got here, we got the news that we'd have to leave again. And I think both of us were really quite disappointed, to be honest. I know I definitely was, and I'm pretty sure my husband as well. Because our whole family, my kids as well, we really love living here. We really enjoyed it. Just the pace of life is really nice. People here are nice. We've made friends and really settled into our life here over the last year. And yeah, suddenly it's all being sort of tipped upside down again. And yeah, it's time to start packing again for the third time this year. So yeah, there was a lot of emotions about that news. And I know I had to take myself off to my bedroom and have a bit of a cry and really try and process that. And I was surprised actually that I cried, because normally I would just be really sort of angry and then try to avoid the feelings or something. But I thought, no, I need to process this in a healthier way this time. So I had a good cry about that. And so now that I'm talking to you, it's been quite a few weeks since we've heard this news. So the fact that I can talk about it without crying means that I've had quite a bit of time to process what is going to happen. And we will be leaving Sweden just before Christmas. Luckily, the kids can finish their school, the school term at their school. And then we will be packing up and leaving because, given what's happening at the moment in the world with the COVID virus, once we arrive in Japan, we need to self-isolate or quarantine, if you will, for 2 weeks. And yeah, we also have to take PCR tests and things before we leave Sweden. So we need a bit more time to get there and get sorted before the kids can go to school in January in Japan. So some people have been asking me, where are you going in Japan? Well, we're going back to where we came from. So we'll be going back to our own home, which is waiting for us. I have my car back. I'll get my dog back. He's been living with my in-laws in Tottori Prefecture in Japan for the last year and a little bit longer than that actually. But we'll have him back, and then my kids can go back to their old school with their friends are waiting for them. My husband will go back to his old office, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what opportunities are going to pop up for me when I get back to Fukushima. So actually in March. In March of 2021, we'll be coming up to the 10-year anniversary of the tsunami and nuclear meltdown that happened in Fukushima. Yes, 10 years exactly. So I'm really looking forward to somehow being involved in that, as well as, maybe there might be an Olympics happening next year. maybe in some way there's something I can do working with that when I get back to Fukushima. So there's lots of things happening that I would like to be involved in when I get back to Japan that it's a little bit tricky to do from here. Yeah, so now I'm able to look at what opportunities might be available and sort of focus on that. But it was definitely a month or two of feeling frustrated, angry, let down. Why me as well? Trying to process that sort of bad news. And as far as bad news goes, it's not that bad. My family is still healthy. We're all together, and I really, really appreciate that in times like this. So I don't want to sound too whiny, but these big things, big life changes like this can happen just out of the blue, right? And when they do, it feels, I have to say, for me, it felt like I just walked into a brick wall, that it wasn't there yesterday. Yeah. And I had been making some plans to do certain things with my work and my online business. With my coach, I think it was the day before, or maybe even the same day in the morning, I'd been making all these plans and talking about how I wanted to do this and that. And then it was either the next day or the afternoon, it was like, bam, and then all of the things that I'd been thinking about just sort of like went up in flames in front of me. But now I see, okay, well, maybe we were not going that way. Maybe we were going off in this direction a little bit more now. So yeah, I think when these things happen, it's really important to give yourself a chance to process. And, processing could be having a cry about it, having a scream about it, going for lots of walks. You may have seen me on social media talking about my walks, and my walks have been keeping me I was going to say insane, keeping me sane. Definitely really helping to process some of those feelings out of my body and into the ground, and rather than just sort of throwing some food in on top, or some alcohol or whatever, binging on Netflix, that sort of thing. So walking is what I've been doing to get through hearing this news. So yes, who knows what is going to happen next? We really do not know. I certainly did not expect to be finding myself back living in Japan a year after we'd left. That's for sure. So yeah. So what I'd like to do next is just talk a little bit about some of the really lovely messages that I got from people who have seen my posts on social media about us having to leave and things. So first of all, so many people commented. I have, normally I would never get that many comments about things I put up. So thank you so much to everyone who commented, and people who took the time to write a thoughtful comment. That was really, really appreciated. And I want to just say a big thank you to especially Julie. Now, Julie, I've known for a while. She's a lovely, lovely lady. She sent me a message, and she wrote something that just really reminded me. Yeah, you may have heard this before. I know I have, but I completely forgotten. Yeah, so we forget these things, and it's really important to just remind ourselves. And Julie reminded me of this, so I'm going to share it with you all as well. And that is, she said, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And I thought, yes, I am going to hold on to that one, because it's just changing your perspective about how you view something. Yeah. So I was very much in the, oh, this is happening to me and poor me kind of situation, feelings. And then when she reminded me of that, I was like, yes, okay, it's just a tiny change in the way I'm thinking about this, but this is happening for me. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be, what is the word? It's a sort of like toxic positivity, because I feel like I have really let myself feel sad and disappointed and all of that. I've not denied those feelings at all, especially this time. I've done a really good job of letting myself feel that. And yeah, now it's time to give myself a chance to think of it's happening for me. And if I think about it that way, yeah, what great, exciting opportunities might be just waiting to come to me when we're back in Japan. Yeah, so that was really helpful. Thank you for sharing that with me, Julie. And then Kristen said, "We will crown you Queen of Resilience," which is such a lovely thing to say. And also, I really sort of picked up on this comment because she used the word resilience, and I was thinking, me resilient? No, I'm not resilient. And then I thought about it again, and I was thinking, well, actually, hang on a minute. I think you might be a bit resilient, actually, or actually quite a lot resilient. So, what do you even say to yourself that you're not resilient? Yeah. So, thank you, Kristen, for pointing that out to me and reminding me that yeah, I am resilient. Yeah. And it's okay to own that. Yeah. You know, what even does resilience look like? Well, I will take that, and I will take that crown of the Queen of Resilience. Yeah. All right. So thank you so much, Julie and Kristen. That's just two of the messages that I got. But I hope that you listening or watching will find something in there that works, that speaks to you as well. Yeah, perhaps you haven't thought of yourself as resilient either, and perhaps you actually are. Look at the things that we have done this year, that we have achieved despite all of the challenges. Yeah. Or, maybe it's time to remember that things are happening for you rather than happening to you. And it's just a teeny tiny switch in how you think about things that could really, really help. So, yeah, two messages I got from some of my listeners. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, just whenever I'm feeling a little bit there or a little bit frustrated or whatever, I can just go back and look at those posts and read through those comments, and it really helps me. It's like one of those feel-good jars where you pick out something nice that someone said about you that you put in a jar and remind yourself. Yeah, it's difficult to keep everything front and center at all times. So I was thinking, I'm so busy with moving countries, why not make myself a little bit even more busy and hold an online event? So despite the fact that we are moving next month, I was out walking, and this is on one of my walks. While I've been walking, I've been trying not to listen to music too much or listen to podcasts while I'm walking, because I find that I'm not present for what I'm actually doing, which is walking in nature. And the nature here is so beautiful. Like, why would you not pay attention to what you're walking past? And it's very easy to just sort of walk 4 kilometers and then get there and go, I don't remember anything I saw, because you were listening to something. So I've been trying to walk without earphones at least some of the times. And on a day recently when I did this, I was really enjoying looking at the trees and the autumn leaves falling and all of this, and being really present. And then I just had this idea come to me, and this is what happens when you give yourself a chance, just stopping all the chatter in your head, or or constantly bombarding your mind with input of some sort. It could be listening to a podcast or watching something or whatever. When we almost never give ourselves a chance to just have an empty mind, or not be thinking 100,000 things. So that happened when I was walking. It doesn't always happen, but when that happens, yeah, sometimes you get this like download, this idea or this thing just pops into your head from nowhere, right? And that happened to me when I was walking the other day. And so I was not far into my loop walk that I do, which is about 4 kilometers. And the reason I walk in a loop is so that I don't have to think about where I'm going, but also I don't have to negotiate with myself that how far I'm going to walk, or I have to finish the loop or I can't go home. So yeah, that's another tip of how I just I keep walking. Find yourself a loop you cannot escape from is basically the tip. Anyway, so I'm walking on my loop and I just started walking and this idea just came into my head and it wouldn't leave me alone. So I was like, okay, well, I have another 3 kilometers to think about what this might be. And yeah, so I just got this idea came to me, and it was to create an online event, but for some reason it needed to be in Japanese. And you're going to be like, what? Why Japanese? And I don't know why, but I just had this feeling that I need to do this event in Japanese. And there are a lot of online things happening in English, all of these different thought leaders, end of year things that you can sign up for. But I thought, no, this event's going to be in Japanese. And so I decided to create this event, which is called Sayonara 2020 and Welcome 2021, which in Japanese is Sayonara 2020, Ueru Kamu 2021. Yeah. Or2021年. Yeah. So, and I spent about exactly 3 seconds thinking of the name for that event. So it must be the perfect name for it. But the title says it all. We are going to be working on saying goodbye to 2020, tidying up the loose ends, letting go of some of the emotional baggage we may have about 2020, and then focus a little bit more on 2021. So actually, someone who has been on the podcast recently, Jody, you might remember her a few episodes back when I interviewed Jody about her mindfulness and training that she does. She actually posted something on Instagram that really reminded me that if you don't say goodbye properly to something, you cannot welcome in the next thing. So, and I was thinking about that a lot with this move that's coming up from Sweden back to Japan. And if I do not say goodbye to Sweden properly, if I do not, enjoy the hell out of, what's left of the time here, and then say goodbye to it, I cannot enjoy, if I'm still hanging on to Sweden and poor me, I had to leave, and I won't be able to enjoy Japan when I get back. And I was like, that is something I really needed to hear right now. Yeah. So we're going to be doing that with 2020. And I think we all could benefit from this, right? Really making a really nice, safe space online to work on this together and say goodbye to 2020. We're going to do some journaling, get through some of the things that are we're maybe holding on to, let that go, and make some space in your life, make some space in your mind, and I'm going to sounds a bit corny, in your heart, for 2021. So I'm really excited about this event. And although I've said it's going to be in Japanese, I'm open to doing one in English as well. But at the moment, I'm focusing on some of my Japanese clients who I haven't seen for a while, who I've really missed working with since I've been here in Sweden. It's been a little bit tricky keeping up with everyone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Now, if you're wanting to join the Japanese one, it's on December 8th, 2020 at 8 p.m. Japan time, which in Sweden is 12 p.m. So yeah, it's a lunchtime thing if you're in Sweden, and it's later at night, 8 p.m. starting if you're in Japan. So anybody can join. You don't have to be Japanese to join, but if you some level of Japanese is required to join that one. That said, I'm interested in doing one in English if there's the need or the demand for one as well. So yeah, that's what happened the other day. And got some people joined already. There's already like 6 people coming, so that's excellent. I hope you will also sign up if you want to join, and you can find out how to do that by just looking at the show notes for this episode. You'll find a link to the Facebook event. And if you click going, then I will know that you're interested and I will contact you. Or you can email me at Jane, Jayne, at janenakata.com and let me know that you'd like to come, and we will get you sorted out. The cost is 1,980 yen. So that's, if you can't understand the price, then you can't come. No, I'm just kidding. It's 1,980 yen. And I will look forward to hearing from those of you who would like to join us, hoping to see even more familiar faces in there, or perhaps some new faces of people who've been listening. So that was a bit weird, yeah, doing PR for a Japanese Japanese event, but I know quite a few of my listeners are actually people, Japanese people in Japan or overseas. So hopefully that is something you'd like to come and join us for. I'll look forward to hearing from you. Yeah, so, despite moving, international move coming up and all of this, I'm actually right now feeling pretty good about it. You know, I'm really disappointed that, this lifestyle is going to be finishing soon. But I have to say, we have learnt quite a few things in the short time that we have been here in Sweden. And one of those things is that you can enjoy your work life and your home life balance, not saying balance, but you can enjoy both. Yeah. And sometimes you may have to work, you might be a bit busy in that, but there's plenty of time for relaxing, for playing, for just hanging out, taking things easy. There's no need to rush all the time. There's definitely a slower pace of life here, and people really value spending time with their families, spending time in nature, and just, yeah, really enjoying what they have. Yeah, I feel, compared to Japan, where I felt like on the weekends or in holidays, we would go somewhere and spend money. Yeah. And it would be, go to a shopping mall, go to an amusement park, go to somewhere where you had to pay money to get in. And then you would be slowly siphoned of money as you went through this experience. And there's a lot of stuff like that. Whereas I feel in Sweden, there's a lot more focus on get out there and enjoy nature. Everybody has access to nature. Anybody in Sweden can go anywhere. This is um, this access to nature law that they have here. It's really amazing. And so, you would spend an afternoon on the weekend picking berries for free, and you're completely allowed to do it. Or like I've been doing recently, searching for mushrooms, this kind of stuff. Just going to the beach and spending the whole day there, and it's not so hot that you can't do that. And it's, yeah, just really a slower pace of life that doesn't require you to be constantly buying something or spending money on something. So I really noticed that difference here, and I really it sort of reminded me a lot of my childhood in New Zealand, because that's mainly what we have as nature. And especially where I grew up down in the South Island of New Zealand, there's not really much to spend money on. It's more go out there, enjoy the lakes or the forest or whatever. So yeah, I really enjoyed that part of being in Sweden, and it reminded me that perhaps I can do that more in Japan. Actually, it might take a little bit more research or figuring out where to go. Maybe it's not on your doorstep like it is here. You might have to travel a little bit further, but there are definitely opportunities for that too that I hadn't potentially noticed, or I'd just been distracted by all these other things that there are to do, because there's certainly lots of things to do in Japan, that's for sure. Another thing that I have learned being here in Sweden is that it is exactly what it means to give your life to a company. Yeah, which is what we've done by being expats here. When you're an expat, you are at almost not the mercy of your company that you're, working for, that you're on assignment for. So what does that actually mean? Yeah, it sounds glamorous. You get to go overseas and it's all expenses paid and blah, 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 but you do not have control of your life. Yeah, in that respect, like you can't decide that you want to stay longer, or, if you're told to leave, you have to leave. Yeah. So that has also taught us something about what it actually means to have more say in how your life goes. So yeah, that was another good learning experience for us. So when we get back to Japan, one thing that I'm interested to see is how will we go back to our old lives. And if you are someone who's also done this, maybe you've noticed when you've been away overseas on assignment or something, you've moved to a new country, and then you've gone back home again. And then in this case for me, it's Japan. Yeah, you're a different person than when you left. And of course, there's going to be some re-entry shock, some what do they call it? Some reverse culture shock, I think it is. Yeah. When you go back to your home country and you're not the same person as when you left. Yeah. It's been a year. We've done lots of things. We're different people than when we left. But essentially, and all around you, things are almost the same as when you left, but you're not the same. So another analogy is that like when you put a rubber glove on, or just a glove, and then it fits perfectly, right? But then you take it off and you try to put it back on, it doesn't quite fit anymore. It feels different, yeah. It's not the same as it was. So yeah, I'm interested to see what that is going to be like when we get back to Japan, and that's not a bad thing, but yeah, maybe our old life is, we'll have to change a few things up about that. I'm not sure what that will look like, but that's just something I'm interested to see what happens. But it's good to be aware that that could happen. It's not like, oh, I'm going home and it's all going to be wonderful, it's all going to be the same like it was when I was there before, and then get a nasty shock or an unpleasant surprise when it's not. Yeah. So yeah, that's some of the things I'm thinking about right now as we head back. And if you are also moving, then you may be thinking about that too. There's definitely, living in an international community here, I'm noticing that, yeah, there's a lot more people disappearing, heading home. Contracts are ending, new contracts are not starting so much. That sort of thing is happening a lot. So there are quite a few people who are, I think, in a similar situation to us at the moment. It's definitely not an anomaly. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that is all I have for you today. So thank you so much to everyone who has sent their good wishes and words of encouragement to me. And it's been really, really, really helpful. And I really thank you for your support. And I hope that some of those messages that I shared with you today will also help you. So remember, that's one from Julie was, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And from Kristen was, we will crown you Queen of Resilience. You might be the queen of something that you hadn't noticed, yeah? Like I hadn't noticed that perhaps there was a lot more resilience there than I had ever really thought about. So there you go. And I really would love to see some listeners on my Sayonara 2020年, yeah, Sayonara 2020 workshop on December the 8th at 8 p.m. Japan time, or 12, I think that's 12 p.m. Sweden time. Yeah, I hope I've got that right. I always get a little bit worried about the time differences, if I calculated that, or is it still daylight savings or not? And yeah, so hopefully we'll all be on at the same time on the same day. Yeah. So that's happening, and I look forward to seeing some of you on there. And I think we will have one or two more episodes with this podcast for the year. And then I will be taking a break, well, to change countries, but also Christmas and things are coming. And I know people are just generally busy at that time of the year. Also, I like to keep the episodes a little bit current and up to date. So I don't like to record them too far in advance. Otherwise, they quickly get sort of out of date and things. So yeah, we've got another couple of episodes coming up. So if there's anything you'd like to hear from me about, let me know. I probably won't be doing interviews. I just find that at the moment this is the best I can manage, and so we're doing minimum viable product kind of thing at the moment, but it's happening and the episodes are coming out. So yeah, please let me know if there's something you'd like to hear about. Maybe you have some questions for me. I'm happy to answer those as well. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.